Welcome back to another automation breakdown where we break down automated solutions for your business needs. I'm your host, Chris. Today, I will be walking you through how to take a Power App and I'll choose one person here. And while we're on this page, I will go ahead, click the submit button. The Power Apps will design a PDF and take the contents of this screen of the PDF and send this in an email back to the user, either the user or varying stakeholders. And the contents that are from this PDF are direct from Power Apps. As we open up the PDF, you'll see the TKB logo, all of the contents that were within the Power Apps all presented back into this PDF. Now, some of the big use cases I've used this for are for audit purposes, because when you take an item into a PDF, it's much harder to manipulate the PDF. I've also used this as the form of approval back to varying stakeholders. Now they get a copy of that PDF that they can take to either outside vendors, maybe internal stakeholders. But again, they have a copy of that PDF. So if that sounds good, let's hop into how I made this. To kick things off, this is my background data source, my SharePoint list, which this is tied to my promotion nomination form, which I had made in this video. Before we even get started in Power Apps, I need to make one adjustment to this SharePoint list, and that is going to be all the way to the right. I'm going to add in a new column. I will click on Add Column, and let's add in a multi-line of text. Next, this will be our PDF column, which I will name the column PDF, and let's click on the Save button. What this new column is going to do is store in the contents of the PDF inside of this SharePoint list. So with that done, now let's go into Power Apps,
I've been looking forward to this.
create from blank, and tablet size. Now that we're logged into this app, let's go into our settings, go over to updates, experimental, scroll down until you find PDF function, and let's make sure that our PDF function is turned on. Now let's go ahead and connect this to our background data source. Let's go to data, add data, and find our SharePoint item. And once again, we are connecting this over to our promotion nomination form. And let's connect them. I'm going to go into new screen and I'm going to choose header and footer. Go over to the tree view and I'm actually going to delete out screen 1. We don't need that one anymore. And screen 2, let's go over here and let's rename the screen. I'm going to name this over to employee screen. And let's go ahead and start adding in contents inside of this main container. And for me, I'm going to add in a vertical gallery. And let's connect this vertical gallery into our background data source, our promotion nomination form. Perfect. With this done, still having our gallery 1 clicked on, let's go over to the OnSelect of the gallery. And I'm going to set a new variable with this gallery. The variable is going to be called var employee info, comma, and the info that is going to be stored in this variable comes from this item. Whichever item that the user clicks on, those contents will be stored inside of var employee info, semicolon, and after our user clicks on an employee, we want to navigate them over into our next page. So I'll add in navigate. However, we have not set up that next page just yet. So I'm going to click away, new screen, and I'm going to add in another header and footer. Let me rename this screen to PDF page. Let's go back into our employee screen and let's finish up the OnSelect. So this will be navigating over to the PDF page. Let's click on play and let's say I click on, I don't know, Audrey. Great, now we're on that PDF page. Now that we're here, let's add some contents inside of our main container. And I'm going to add in an edit form. Connect it over to my promotion nomination form and notice that the form is currently blank. Well, the contents will be coming from that variable we set up. So I'm going over to the item property inside the form control and I will add in var employee info. And all of the items from Audrey Wood now show up inside of this form. However, let's go over to fields, edit the fields, and I want to add in a few other items from that background data source, our SharePoint list. And this will be our PDF. the column that we set up earlier now being enabled inside of this form. I'm also going to add in our status column. Let's add both of these items to the form. Now, what's going to end up happening is inside of this form, it's currently housed inside of our main container. And we're going to print everything inside of this main container into a PDF, store the contents of that PDF inside of this data card so that when we patch this into our background data source, the contents of that PDF can be used inside of Power Automate later on in this video. I know.
Spoiler alert.
In order to make all of that happen, let's go into this footer container and I'm going to add in a button. I'm going to click back on the footer container and I'm going to right justify the button. Back on the button, let's change the text property and let's change this over to submit. And let's go into the OnSelect property. We're going to set a brand new variable in this. I'm going to say set varpdfContent. This part may be a little tricky, but we're going to add in our JSON of what? Of the PDF. And again, we're making the PDF not of the form, but of the main container, which is titled main container 2. Back into the OnSelect, let's add that in. We'll say main container 2, comma, open up our curly bracket, and we'll say expand containers, and we are going to set our expand containers to true. Let's close out the curly bracket, close out the parentheses of the PDF, comma, and we are going to have our JSON format dot include binary data. Close out the parentheses and close out the parentheses of the set variable. The next thing that I really haven't gone over is I'm going to make sure that our status is going to be approved. I know it's currently set to approved, but I'm also going to manually force the system to recognize that it's approved. And so in order to do that, I'm going to, again, back inside this button, I'm going to set our var status, and that will be to approved. Let's close out the parentheses. Now, what are we going to do with this? Well, inside of this status, let me go over to our advanced properties. I'm going to unlock to change properties. Now, some of you may decide to change your variable by using this dropdown. However, Power Apps does not respond that quickly. It does, however, respond more quickly inside of this data card, the entire data card. Let's go over to updates. And currently it's set to refer to anything that is within the dropdown dot selected. I'm going to change this over to inside the curly bracket. We're going to add in value colon, and the value is going to derive from our var status. Let's close out the curly bracket. The next step is inside of this PDF data card. Let's go to unlock to change properties. And now this time, however, inside of the data card value, we're going to change it from our parent.default into our var PDF content. Now, as I click on submit, you'll notice that the JSON of the PDF, the coded version of the PDF, is now displayed inside of this data card. However, at the very beginning, you'll see a double quote there. So now let's adjust our defaults. Instead of just var PDF, I'm going to add substitute around it, comma, and we're going to add 4 double quotes, quote, 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 quote. We're basically saying every time that there are these double quotes within our PDF contents, comma, we're going to replace it with nothing, end quote. And like you see, those double quotes went away. That's literally what we needed to in order to store the contents of the JSON of the PDF. Let's add some more items into our OnSelect of this button control. And I'm going to add on to this. And now we are going to submit our form. And this is our form 1. And after the user submits the form, I'm going to navigate our user right back into our original screen. Now with this, the var PDF contents, I'm going to, right when we land on this page, onto our PDF page, I'm going to go over to our onVisible, and immediately when our user lands on this page, I'm going to set our var PDF contents to blank. Now let's go over to play. I'm I'm going to go and submit this form. Great, we've now navigated back into our original screen. And as I refresh our SharePoint page, you can see that our PDF contents were added to this line item. So now the PDF contents are in the background data source. Now let's hop into Power Automate to automate the contents inside of a PDF to be emailed out to your varying stakeholders. Logging into Power Automate, let's go to Create, and I'm going to add in our automated cloud flow. Let's give it a name, and I'm going to say when an item is created or modified. And let's go ahead and create. Currently, our Power Automate says that there are invalid parameters. Let's go ahead and fix this. Let's add in our site address, and then let's add in the list name, which is, of course, the promotion nomination form. After our trigger, I'm going to add in a switch. The switch is going to come from our status and the status value of it. Because our status is a choice column, we need the direct value of whichever choice was selected. Now, I'm just going to make an approved scenario. However, you can create other scenarios here by creating other cases. The first action I'm going to create within our approved scenario, I'm going to add in a compose. This compose, I'm going to retitle to our PDF title. And the inputs I will say are promotion approval dash, and then I'm going to go into our dynamic content and find our associate name, dot PDF.
Don't forget it!
Yeah, just please don't forget this last part. .pdf is so crucial when you're, well, making a PDF. After this, let's add in another compose. And this, what we're going to do is split our base 64. In the inputs, let's go over to our expressions, and I'm going to write the following. The last of our splits inside of our, again, going to dynamic content and finding our PDF, comma, and what we're going to do is split it by our comma. So between a single quote and another single quote, we're writing in our comma. With this done, let's go ahead and add. Our next action is, well, another compose. This is going to decode our PDF inside the inputs, going over to our expressions, and we'll say base 64 to binary. And we will go to our dynamic contents, scroll down, and then split base 64. Add. I mean, technically you can do that in the same step, but I thought just ease of use to explain it, just separate that out into two different steps. This is the title of the PDF, and this is the PDF contents decoded for an email to understand. So our next item, well, we're going to send an email. Under Office 365 Outlook, send an email, adding myself as the to. This is going to be our complete item. And in the body, your promotion is approved. Please see PDF. And I'm going to, inside of advanced parameters, click on our attachments. Let's add a new item. And well, we've already built both of these items. Attachment name, let's go over to our dynamic content, and that's the PDF title. The contents, again, let's go over to our dynamic contents, decode PDF. Now, what we're going to end up doing is when an item is created or modified, it's currently set at approved. So I'm going to, as our next step, update the item, add in our list name. Once again, that is our promotion nomination form, and the ID, going to dynamic content, and this will come from when an item is created or modified. I'm just going to clear out all of these items, and we're going to find our status value. We're going to adjust the status value now to complete. It's done, dusted, out of our hands. And finally, we're going to add an attachment. And just like what we've been doing, right? You give the site address, you give the list name, our promotion nomination form, the ID, going to dynamic content when an item is created or modified, and the file name and contents. Again, we've set these both up. Go to dynamic contents, go over to your PDF title, and file contents, dynamic content, decode PDF. Now, when the user modifies this line item, we'll create the PDF and we will also attach this PDF inside of that line item. Let's go ahead and click Save. Now this time, let's go to Natalie. Great, all of Natalie's items loaded into the PDF screen. Now we'll go ahead and click on Submit. And just like that, inside of our emails, great, now we see the email complete item with the attached PDF. As I open this up, you'll see once again all of the items within that container, in this case it was the form, that are now displayed inside of this PDF. The last part of this video, let's clean up some of the aesthetics. Let's give it a logo, maybe create some more dynamic features in it. And now this time, let's exit out of this. Let's go over to our PDF page. And what I'm going to do is this card right here, the PDF, we don't need our users to see that. So I'm going to adjust the visible property to false, as well as this status. Again, the user does not need to see that. So the visible property of the status data card, it's false, done, dusted, out of sight, out of mind. Next, what I'm going to do is on this submits, let's expand this a little bit. At the very beginning, I'm going to set a new variable saying var printing to true, semicolon. And at the very end of this, I'm going to set our var printing to false. When the user clicks on this, var printing will turn to true. It'll go through setting the variable of the PDF. It'll go through all of this, setting the var status to approved. It'll submit the form, navigate them back, and then finally at the outset of all of this, var printing will be back to false. Now within this form, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new field. So if you go over to the three dots, add a custom card, I'm going to take this card, drag it all the way to the top, and I'm going to insert an image. Great, just like that. Maybe adjust some of the height of this. Inside of this image, let's go over to image. I'm going to upload an image, and I've uploaded the YouTube channel, the Puya brand logo right inside of here. Well, just like what we did to our other invisible properties, our status and our PDF, this one, however, I'm going to click on the data card, go over to our visible property, and this time we're going to add in our var printing. Currently, we are not printing, so it is now not displaying. Likewise, inside of these different data cards, I want to turn off the display mode so that it's not these open text boxes when it prints to PDF. So clicking on the data card value, let's go over to our display mode. And what I'm going to say is at the beginning of this, if var printing, comma, display mode is going to be view, comma. If not, well, display mode is parent.display mode. And I'm just going to copy this and literally paste it to every single one of these other data cards. With this done, let's go ahead and click on play. You have all of these items now. Again, they're currently editable, but as I click submit, they all turn to display mode view, and you also see the TKB logo up top here. And once again, the email comes in. We see complete item. This is for Anthony. You can see that within the title of the PDF. And now the PDF even looks like what had displayed inside of Power Apps with the logo and with everything set to display mode view. Now, some of the downsides of using this methodology within your Power Apps is that when you do start the process and you're submitting, taking the contents of the JSON of the PDF does take about 15 to 20 seconds, depending on you and your use case and your users' expectations. That can be a little long for some users, as well as when I've noticed that I'm in the edit page of Power Apps and I'm editing it, it just so happened that it did force close on me a couple of times as I was going through this. So save constantly, save your work. but that was kind of expected. I, however, have been using this in a live application for about 2 years now, the same methodology for about 2 years. And I haven't had any problems with it in the live version of the app. But yeah, that's kind of some of the downsides, some of the slip ups that I've had by using the same methodology. But at the end of the day, I've used this for both audit purposes as well as for making sure that my stakeholders have the right PDF. But that's it for this video. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next video.